Hi, I'm Dane with Scribners. This is a new channel. We're new to YouTube. We're also new to farming. We figured this is a good way to start both at the same time. You could follow along. You can see our successes, you can see our failures. Figure this is a way to help you out. It's also going to help us out. Maybe someone could leave in the comments things that we're doing wrong. My wife and I follow a lot of YouTube channels, and then we've watched them start their farms from scratch. We wanted to start ours from scratch. So you can follow along with us, see how we did it and how we're going to continue to do it. You know, we started not knowing what to do. If I would have been filming from day one, you would have saw a lot of failures, months of failures. So this is a way to kind of cut all that out and show you how we got utilities set in, how we got our house set up, a lot of things that we tried to find on YouTube but we're unable to find. So hopefully this video will help you get you started. First of all, let me start off saying that we inherited this land from family. We moved back from the beach in Alabama. That was not easy to do, but it's something we wanted to do, start a farm, be closer to family, and kind of start our legacy here. So where the house sits now used to be scrub brush, a lot of trees. As you see behind me, that's what it looked like. It no longer looks like that. So I'll take you through the steps of how we got it cleared, how we got it here, and how we're slowly getting grass to grow finally. First step when we moved back was we wanted to come explore. We want to see where we wanted to put the house. So the first thing we did is we came out here. We knew right off the bat we wanted to save on utilities, so we wanted to put the house at the front of the property. We found the best place was the corner of the property. So we kind of came right through here. We cut the barbed wire fence, made our entry. We determined then, yeah, this is where we want to put a house. We had an awesome backdrop, a beautiful barn behind us, beautiful sunset and a pond. So that's where we wanted to put our house. So then we contacted the county commissioner, and the county commissioner explained that they could clear the easement along the road. All the trees and every bit of barbed wire fence that was there that we didn't want to take out to keep, they would just clear it off. So when they came out, they cleared all this right here. They got it cleared so we could actually get someone in to start clearing the land. Now the county commissioner, I don't know in your state, but in our state, they'll come out, they'll clear your easement as much as you want to clear, and they'll actually give you one dump of rock, and they'll also put a tin horn in for you. The tin horn, for you don't know, is the metal culvert that goes underneath your driveway to let water go through. If you get that put in, it'll kind of help with the flow so you don't get it backing up on your driveway. So after we got it cleared from the county commissioner, we contacted someone to come and actually clear the land where they were going to clear it all out and also level it to put the house. You got to have a level spot for the house to go on to make sure your house is level. So when they came out, they cleared it. They got all this cleared like it was behind us. I'll include some pictures to show the before and after. While he was out here, we determined we wanted the pond redone. So while he was here, we went ahead and had him kind of make the pond a little bit bigger, and throughout time, the dam kind of eroded away, so he rebuilt the dam for us and actually built us a new spillway. So now we have a lot nicer of a pond built over there. right here is the pond we were talking about. When he came out to clear the land, he went ahead and redid the dam for us and kind of dug out a little bit more and took out some trees that we didn't want near the pond. The pond now is about 4 times the size that it was before, and a good amount deeper as well. And it gives us this great view behind us. So the next step was to find a house. We decided right now we wanted to go with the trailer. That way we can kind of get it put on the land, we can live in it for a little while until we're done remodeling the house that's at the other side of the property. So we bought a trailer, found one on Facebook, got a great deal. We determined we could get it paid off. Now we are mortgage free. Since we inherited the land, we don't own the land, and since we got the trailer paid off with the equity from our house in Alabama, we have no mortgage payment. That was kind of the upside of us moving back, is now we can kind of save money and downsize a little bit. So when we bought the trailer, we had to get it moved. Getting it moved was a bit of a feat this year because we had record amounts of rain. It rained for months. We couldn't get it moved until everything dried. The trailer was about 40 minutes away, so then we had to find a company to move it. So when you're doing that, you have to find a mobile home moving service. They came out, they hooked up to the trailer there in the other town, moved it here after months of it drying out. Once they got it put here on the land, they went ahead and leveled it on the land to the property height, make sure everything's level so we don't have anything wonky in the house. Once it got set in, then came the fun part. Now we got to figure out how we get all the utilities hooked up to it. The next thing we did was hook up the water. Now, the reason we put the house at the front of the property was so that we would be right next to the water line. You could also get someone to come dig a well. Kind of depends where your house is at. For us, like I said, we put it at the front of the property so we could be right next to the water line that was already here. Now you got to hunt down who do you contact for hooking up the water. So then, after a bunch of research, we found out which district for Royal Water actually covered this area. Once we found that out, we contacted them. We put down a deposit. They came in and actually tapped into the line at the front of the property. From that point, I looked out. I had a friend that actually did plumbing and also did water wells. So he kind of came and helped me out. We rented a ditch witch, made the ditch ourselves, and then from there we hooked up the line from the tap to the house. So then we had water to the house. Another step out of the process. The next part was electric. You gotta have power in the house. So again, like we did with the water lines, it was a benefit to put it near the front of the property so that way our electric bill to get it set up wouldn't be a fortune. So you're going to find out what electric company services your area. We found out who serviced our area, we contacted them, and we had to put a chunk down for a deposit, but then they explained to us that since it's a mobile home, if we remove the axles and the tongue from the trailer, they would give us a big portion of that back because now the home's permanent and not mobile. So that's what we did. We unhooked everything so that way when they came out and put the pole in, we actually already had everything done so that way we could get the deposit back. The power company gave us a couple options. We could either bury the line or we could actually run a high line. We decided to go with the high line. We put that in. They also put in a security light. It's a bright light, actually lights up our whole area. Once they got that done, now we had to call an electrician. I'm not an electrician. I don't like to mess with things that'll shock me. So we called them. They hooked it up from the pole to the house, made sure everything was working, and actually made sure everything was hooked up right. I might have burned the house down, who knows. Okay, so now we have water hooked up, we have electric hooked up. Now we need a place for the water to go. Also, for the toilets to go. So we had to get in touch with the septic company. But before the septic company would come out, we actually had to have the land tested. So you can get a thing called a perk test. Come to find out, if you're too close, I can't remember the distance, I'll have to look it up, or you can look it up yourself. If you're too close to a creek, you can't even get a perk test. You actually have to get a soil test. I determined, I don't know if we're within that distance because I'm new to the area. So let's go ahead and let's just get the soil test. We contacted a guy, he came out, and not gonna lie, the guy was a little bit old. I felt bad for having him do it, so I ended up helping him do it some because I wasn't going to just sit there and watch it. He actually came out, nice guy, told me about the trees I have even. He came out, did the soil test, determined where we are at was too much clay and not enough drainage. So then you have to go with an aerobic system. If you have proper drainage, you can go with an anaerobic system that actually just kind of drain out through a bunch of pipes, I guess. I'm not a septic person. And that'll actually seep out into the soil because you have that drainage. We couldn't do that. So then we had to get a septic system put in, or an aerobic septic system. So they came out, they dug a big hole, which I can include pictures of that as well. They put an aerobic system in and ran the lines for the sprinklers. Aerobics have to have a sprinklers so that way they can kind of shoot out the stuff after it runs through the cycle. At that point, it sounds a lot worse than what it is. It's actually clean water at that point. So they came out, hooked everything up, made sure everything was running right, hooked up the sprinklers, everything's there. So now we have that out the way. Alright, so now we have septic hooked up on top of all the other things. So now we got to figure out gas. We had to use propane because we didn't have natural gas lines running by our property. So we had to contact a propane company, find out which one we wanted to use. They came out, actually installed a propane tank and hooked up the propane to the house for us. And the propane tank, I had no idea how this goes, so I'll explain it to you. We actually rented a propane tank, and when they rented it out to us, they rented it for the year. I think it was $150 for the year. And then they come out and fill it whenever we tell them it's to a certain point. So you don't have a monthly bill. Ours is actually a lump sum every couple months that'll actually kind of fill up the propane tank and give it to us. Since right now all we really use it for is a hot water tank, our oven, and that's really it. They come out not very often because we don't use a whole lot. Right now that it's kind of getting warming up, we're barely using any because I forgot the heater. The heater is also part of it. But with not using the heat, we're only using the other two things, so it's not really costing a fortune to keep that thing full. And just like that, you have a livable home. You have a place that you can actually live on the farm and just enjoy your life from there on. After doing this video, which was only a couple minutes after I'm done editing everything, it is going to make it seem like an easy process. It was a lot of frustration, a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of research figuring out what we need to do. And that's hopefully what this video will help you, so you won't have those headaches, those frustrations, and you actually know what to do, because I had no idea. So now that we've gone through the headaches and frustrations for you, now you can keep pushing through. You might run into just a few roadblocks. Keep pushing. You want to live where you want to live. We get to be here every evening and listen to the frogs chirp that were just chirping until I started filming. But you get to listen to that. You get to be out here. You get to watch the wildlife run through the pasture. You get to do all that living on your property. Don't give up. Keep pushing forward.